So the first item, changes to railway group standards. In this particular period, there have been changes to about 10 railway group standards that affect us. So I'll go through those with a little bit of detail to each one. The first one to note is that there is a rail standard, RS 504, which covers fatigue management. I suggest that managers and CREs have a look at this to ensure that we are not falling foul of the guidelines. I don't believe we are. I have passed this on to Lee Daniels for him to advise me of any significant changes we have to make within the company, and at the moment there are no changes that he has advised me of. But as you'll appreciate, travelling to and from work, the hours at work for safety critical people working in safety critical posts is subject to very close control. So please have a look at that, RS 504, fatigue management. The next one is to do with immunisation on signalling and telecommunication systems against electrical interference from 50 Hertz single phase AC power supplies. The standard is GKGN 0622, and that is a new standard, so please have a look at that. The next one is GORT 3279, high visibility clothing. This is again one that as a company we're reasonably familiar with it because it does affect all our high-vis clothing that we purchase and we issue to staff and contractors alike. There have been some minor changes to it. Again, it's been passed to Lee, and he will ensure that any changes are picked up by the people buying in the equipment. The next one is GERT 8000, which is the master rule book. You'll be aware this is in a modular format, and the changes that have taken place that you need to be aware of are HB 11, that's Handbook 11, which is for a PICOP, HB 12, which is for an engineering supervisor, and HB 15, which is for machine controllers and operators of on-track plant and equipment. The changes are fairly simple, certainly in the case of the PICOP and the engineering supervisor. There is a change to the RT 3199 form, which is the engineering supervisor certificate. So people who are acting as engineering supervisors need to be sure that they've got the current form, and that is now comes into force as from December 2012. So we've got 3 months to pick up the change and get organised. There's also two new standards on to do with identifying hazards and assessing risk. These are GEGN 8642 and GEGN 8643. I have looked at these. The principles of them are very, very similar to what we do for risk assessments associated with works package plans, but please do have a look at them. Again, because this is coming from the railway group standards, which in a hierarchy of standards do actually sit above the Network Rail Company standards. So again, that's GEGN 8642 and 8643 about identifying and managing and assessing risk on the railway. three other standards which are codes of practice really. COP 00005, which is the code of practice for handling serviceable rail with a road rail vehicle. This is a term called thimbling, so the P-way CREs need to have a look at this and make sure that we're complying with the recommendations of that. Again, in conjunction with road rail excavators, COP 0008 is a code of practice for tandem lifting. So again, it would be sensible for CREs to have a look at these prior to signing off any works package plans where we are planning to do tandem lifts. And the third one is code of practice COP 0012, which is a code of practice for safety related defect reporting for on-track plant. As you'll probably realise, in the last 12 months there's been quite a drive both within Network Rail and the Railway Group standards to bring in a lot of legislation requirements for the use of on-track plant and equipment. And following that line, this code of practice has come out, which relates to defects that you may find on the equipment, how they are to be reported, and the actions that the plant owners and operators would need to take.